much for Thank you so much for taking the time out your busy day to be here with us. And we're also recording it, so everyone that registered will get a recording. So Mohammed and I met recently in Istanbul at on a peace fellowship, and it has really been a great honor to get to know him, and I learned so much from him during the Peacebuilding Fellowship. And we decided to collaborate on this initiative. So we'll be sharing more about it today, and we're really, really excited to be working together. So Mohammed is an incredible peace builder from Somalia with a vast amount of knowledge and experience. So over to you, Mohammed.
Thank you so much and for the introduction. Generally, it was very nice to meet you in Istanbul. And hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, whatever it is. And I'm Mahmoud Ahmed from Somalia, currently working with Gilead Organization as a program director. And also I am Rotary Peace Fellow and, from Bahçeşehir University in Istanbul. And I would like to talk a little bit about the social media and also the impact of social media if it's used in the right way, and also how social media can be used as a peace building tool. And before I talk about that, I would like to little bit talk about the Somalia and also what we have gone through the different situations. And for decades, Somalia has suffered from an ongoing violence and political instability, and also a series of humanitarian crises. And the Somali civil war was motivated by complex political, economic, cultural, and psychological forces, which a lot of internal and external factors has influenced or its development throughout the conflict. At the fundamental level, it boils down to competition for resources and power. You know, and the recurrent droughts and also recurrent conflicts where like competition of resources were the base of the main and driving causes of the conflict in the country. And also colonialism. Other significant factors included clan identity, politicalization, weapons proliferation, and also high youth unemployment. Another contributing main factor into the Somali instability is the fragmentation of Somali society along clan, regional, and also socio-economic lines. Political elites have almost already and every time have long manipulated the intersection of clan identity with access to power and resources. And these conditions have contributed and weakened the community boundaries, disrupted established system, and also pushed many groups, especially the youth, into the margins. Somali youth, like 70% of the Somali community are youth. The largest demographic Somali population within the community. The youth who are the highest demographic not only face the harshest impact of poverty, limited opportunities, displacement, and violence, but also plays a critical role in peace building and national theory. Having said that, recent years, Somalia has made strides in building governance, institutions, and stabilization efforts. And we now currently have a government which rules all the parts of the country with a strong connection and also connections with the community and also other peace building efforts. So coming back to the social media and the social media landscape in Somalia, as has been the case in everywhere in African continent over the past decade, online and social media access in Somalia has shifted away from internet cafes towards increasingly affordable smartphones and mobile internet. A recent global comparison report shows Somalia as being the cheapest country in Africa when it comes to mobile data costs. And also Somalia is the seventh cheapest worldwide when it comes to the mobile and internet data. Like in any other African countries, Facebook is perceived as the dominant platform by young urban Somalis. Other platforms like WhatsApp, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and also Telegram play a key role in using social media in Somalia. Like internet uptake in Somalia is rapidly increasing, hugely increasing, despite the lack of stable energy sources and limited infrastructure. Mobile communications are some of the fastest growing sectors in the country. With the limited resources that we have, I mean, data or research, and I found out that 15.8% of the population are active on social media. Like around 3.5 million people in Somalia are active in social media. And 28.6% are the internet users engaged with at least one of the social platforms that I have mentioned, which Facebook is the leading one with 59.11%, and also followed by YouTube and other social media platforms. 33.6% of the adults in Somalia aged between above 18 are active on social media. So all these and data and information tells us that social media platforms sometimes amplify and sometimes can be used in different means. Like, for example, in the case of Somalia, like pluralization and clan dynamics is very huge. Social media platforms can be used I use sometimes to amplify clan-based narrative and rivalries. This information and hate speech can deepen social divides and exacerbate the already vulnerable communities who are recovering and conflicts and also recovering clan and conflicts. Also, digital tribalism risk is a huge risk in Somalia, reinforcing offline conflict. Sometimes people discuss clan and clan conflicts on social media, and actual clan conflict happens offline. Offline, like it cannot happen online. Youth may be drawn into like fictionalism via online echo chambers. I would like also to mention that the impact of the social media and how people currently are using. For example, one Somali journalist or one Somali activist posts a post on Twitter or Facebook, immediately in 1 minute receives thousands of likes, thousands of shares, thousands of comments, which shows how people are very oriented and connected, interlinked in social media. For myself, even myself, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do sometimes is going to Facebook to see what is going on and to receive information easily, which I can feel that whatever I'm seeing from Facebook is like a source of good information. It's a source of my security, a source of everything. So social media, like it's as I have mentioned, it's a tool that can be used in different ways, positive way and also in a negative way when it comes to Somalia and context. For example, like social media is currently sometimes is used as migration or mobility or movement. For example, a commentator of Al Jazeera and Hamza Mohammed, called Hamza Mohammed, have pointed out the impact of social media platforms such as Facebook have on the young people worldwide, especially in the region, with access to content from diaspora potentially acting as a motivating factor behind attempts to irregular migrations. For example, someone who migrated from his country or from Somalia to abroad, like takes a selfie in a nice place and posts on social media, especially Facebook. That motivates young people who live in the country to admire and also take actions to take and to go outside. Due to time, I would like also to summarize how like social media and diaspora engagement currently like affects the social bond of the community. Like most of the majority of social media users in Somalia at the age of 18 to 35. And also the diaspora community use platform to connect with homeland, influence also discourse. That also take like that also contributes or like takes a part of all the connections between them and their homeland community in their homeland. Youth-led campaigns all sometimes happen on Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp is hugely increasing recently. And also social media can be a bridge gaps between communities. Like for example, it facilitates youth dialogue, digital storytelling, and also peace narratives. Online peace campaigns like for example, conflict, early warning, and civic engagement can maintain and promote peace building and social activity in social social platforms, like promoting also social digital literacy and positive content is a major key when it comes to peace building on social media in Somalia. I would like to tell you an history of when social media peace building started in Somalia. It started from 2010 when we saw explosion of social media usage in Somalia, corresponding with a wider mobile phone adoption and also diaspora engagement. Facebook became very popular, especially among youth for news uptake and also sharing information. Twitter also gained a popularity in Somalia, gaining huge like interaction between the youth in Somalia and those who are living outside. A storytelling, like an example that I would like to mention is diaspora storytelling and unity. In 2016, there was a project called Somali Faces. Somali Faces was launched to highlight everyday Somali histories across the globe. That founded by young diaspora activists, Dunia and Muhammad, who were living also in diaspora. Somali, like outside of the country. Somali faces use Facebook as a content creator and also websites they were using humanizing histories of Somalia from different clans and also countries. Another prominent example that I would like to mention is a local journalist called and a Somali journalist and a poet also embrace social media to speech these messages. Like late Hodan Nalaya, rahimahullah, a Somali comedian, Canadian journalist who used YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook to celebrate Somali culture and progress through her web TV show called TV show Integration TV. Hodan spotlighted and uplifting stories from entrepreneurs in Mogadishu, peaceful cities in Somalia. All these are the gates of peace building on social media. Finally, social media is reshaping Somali youth identity and community ties. While risks of polarization exist, opportunities for peace building, like peace building on social media in Somalia are real. Like supporting youth and different parts of the community to use digital tools responsibly is very essential. And it's a key that we can see that making peace in social media. I would like to hand over to my colleague Hassan and to add and also some points. But before I hand over to Hassan, I would like to mention a little bit about Gredo and what we are doing on peace building and at community level. Gredo is a local NGO in Somalia and working in different thematic sectors. One of our main thematic sector is peace building, which we are currently doing and social behavioral change and local media approaches. And one of our projects is that we utilize contextually relevant and engaging media content to transform social behavioral and norms regarding security and justice and issues. Also, we have and we do leveraging social media influence for community mobilization. We do like and utilizing influential figures like police and also community figures to come together and provide messages, peace messages through local radio and provide messages to the young people and the community in general. Also, there are activities that we conduct on sustainable peace through social media initiatives like listening, discussion, and action groups, creating groups that structured online and offline community discussions, post radio, drama episodes, and many other activities. So I would like to hand over to Hassan to add his point. Thank you so much. Hassan, welcome, please.
Thank you, Mahmoud and Chenali. This is a great opportunity. First, let me introduce myself. I'm Hassan Hadi Ibrahim, the Advocacy and Communications Coordinator for Gredo. It's been a great opportunity to take part in this platform. I was not Rotary Peace Fellowship, but with heart, I was with my colleague Mahmoud by heart. And I appreciate they have benefited from the precious opportunity a lot. And this is the benefits and the outcome of the fellowship. And I can say it is an immediate outcome that the fellowship team and the university team can also be proud of, that one or two of their graduates are immediately taking actions and promoting peace building across Somalia and the globe over. So thank you, Mahmoud, for taking us through Somalia situation and the context, the social media and its demographics in Somalia. I think you have mentioned everything and left nothing for me. But if I take a little few minutes to illustrate how social media is used across Somalia, I'm not going back to tell the figures. Mahmoud has mentioned the figures and the statistics. One of the main was that the Somalia has the most young demographic nation. It's about 70% of the population under the age of 30. And the fact that Mahmoud has mentioned that Somalia is one of the mostly growing in terms of the digital era. Somalia has the cheapest mobile data costs across the African continent. It's around the 7th in worldwide. That gives you how the Somali population are engaged in the social media and in the digital platform. So even taking the reality that a large number of the Somali populations are illiterate or are uneducated, and considering the unemployment rate, that gives you how and what this large number of people, this large number of younger population who are using the social media, who are unemployed, who are mainly maybe illiterate, what activity can they engage with, and how easily can they be used in the bad ways in terms of the social media. Mahmoud has just mentioned that social media, it is a fact and reality, had both positive and negative ways. If this person is not well educated, if he's not busy with his day-to-day work, he's unemployed, he's tend to involve negative issues through the social media. One of these include disinformation, raising clan-based violence, scamming, and so many other things, including illegal migration, so and so. With this number of people using in the social media, we have to think to come up with, people have shifted from listening to mass media, coming in gathering places. Everyone is sticked in his home, on his bed, and looking into his mobile phone, using the internet, the TikTok, the YouTube, the Facebook. So if the well-wishers, if the good thinkers do not have a planned program to influence those people through the social media, we tend to lose that generation. So Grado been mentioned to be a grassroots organization in Somalia, working over 33 years here in Somalia, working in different thematic areas, including peace building and governance. We have been working on, as Mahmoud mentioned, governance issues, working with local authorities, working with youth, working on peace building initiatives and reconciliation initiative as well. So with the opportunity that Mahmoud and Chaneli have met in Istanbul and come up with an initiative that is peace building through social media, this is a great opportunity. So I'm here contributing a little bit about my experience as the communications and digital media and advocacy focal point for organization, and my personal experience through the years. Social media, I have been leading a platform called Y Platform, where we used to engage, before joining Grado actually, we used to engage youth in many aspects, including peace building, including awareness on different thematic areas. And I would also like to take few examples of very impactful social media campaigns that the social media influencers of Somalia have taken out through the years. One of these programs is called Ilintire in Somalia, that literally translates to clearing the tears. This is emotional storytelling initiatives that reconnects families torn back by conflict or displacement or personal traumas. As you know, Somalia have been in a civil war where people have been displaced from across the country, from across the bordering countries, and they have gone to every corner of the world. There are numerous or millions of families who are missing their loved ones, their family members. This program was really one person who is missing a family member to come to the program center and tells whatever he knows about that person at the last time he was missed or she was missed. And the extent of the social media users of Somalis in Somalia and in the diaspora, it's 99% that this person will reconnect, will reunite with his loved ones, with his family members. That program, led by a social media influencer guy called Abdurrazak Hili, has made a tremendous impact and have led to the reunification of families or family members that have been missing through 20 plus years, 30 plus years. Another social media campaign that was led by Somalis was a campaign called Without Fear. This campaign targeted on harassment, especially harassment targeting women. I mean digital harassment through digital media like social media. Maybe in any context this like exists, some bad-willing guys can take advantage of vulnerable women and girls maybe taking nude pictures of those victims, of those vulnerable, and making it like ransom, and taking ransom and something related. This initiative have lifted and have also resolved and has also released suffering from thousands of women and girls in Somalia. Another campaign was U Istaag Dalkaaga. That means stand for the people and for the country. That had social media movement, storytelling through social media to fight clanism and promote unity. And so many other stories can be told. And taking aspirations from these campaigns and the initiatives that we are doing here in Gredo, be it offline, be it through the mass media, local radios, shifting this into social media, we can amplify the voices, we can amplify our reach as well. With this, we can also include other digital skills through which, when we shift these young generations from the bad usage of social media, bringing them into the positive use of social media, we can engage them social media gatherings, be it in any platform, discuss about trending issues, promote peace, stability, and also engage in a meaningful discussions where youth can build their minds, but beyond can build their skills and can contribute to the well-being of themselves first, their families, the country, and the prosperity of the future. That's from my end. Because of the time.
Thank you.
Over to you, Jenny.
Thank you so much. So I think everyone can see now why I'm so excited about this collaboration. As I said, I've learned so much from Mahmoud on the program, and I continue to learn from him, listening to him on this webinar and getting to know the Gredo team, people like Hassan. It's really, really an exciting opportunity to put our skills and tools together to create an amazing impact in Somalia. And we want to use this as a starting point and then do it in other places too. So you can really see, get a sense of why we are so excited about it. We finished the Peace Fellowship, and the Peace Fellowship, we were together for 3 months. So we really got to learn from each other and know each other well. And you can see why we got back, and we've immediately kind of jumped into this like 2 days later. And I'm just getting my presentation up. So Mohammed and Hassan have given a really incredible insight into Somalia, peace building in Somalia, and social media. And now I want to go a little bit into the nitty-gritty of the social media and tech tools that we have, that we're going to be combining with the incredible experience and knowledge of Gredo. So Tales of Turning works with social media and tech and uses it for good. So for peace building, for preventing gender-based violence, for preventing xenophobia. And we've done a lot of work around mis and disinformation, and we work across the globe. How we work is that we take an approach drawn from narrative therapy, where we see people and communities as the experts of their own lives. They know best, they know their problems best, they know their solutions best, and it's really the communities themselves that we need to be deeply listening to, because they have the answers, they have the solutions. So what's really, really exciting for me is that we use these social media listening tools to pull data from public social media. So it pulls in all the big data. We know that people just put things online that they wouldn't really say in person. So of course, academic research and the traditional academic research, because our research is also academic, but the traditional academic approach of interviews and focus groups, that's still very important. But people say things on social media that they would maybe not say in a focus group. So you're getting this unfiltered perspectives online, and you're getting thousands and thousands of data points. So it's any researcher's dream. And it's really fascinating. You can imagine it's like being in a bus and listening to all the people around you and what they're saying and their different perspectives. And now, like, multiply that by thousands. And so it's really a way of understanding what issues are people facing, how are they grappling with these issues, how are they thinking about it, how are they discussing it, what are their different perspectives. And then we also look at the language that's being used. So importantly, whatever country we're working with, we have local partners. We also have an incredible network of people that we employ across the globe and across Africa. And so we work in the local languages, but not only that, we work in the colloquial languages. So by pulling this data from public social media, we can really see the words that people are using. How are they expressing themselves? So instead of when we're designing interventions and engagements and dialogues and social media content, instead of using academic terms or the terms we've become used to in the sector, we can really use the language that people are using and meet them where they're at. So it gives us this deep listening and this deep understanding. So I'm just going to go briefly into how the social media, the process works, not to get too technical, but we start by, sorry, I just need to plug my computer in. We start by, we have a team that is facilitating dialogue online. They spend a lot of time online, so they really understand the online landscape. And from that, we then find keywords. And these are words and phrases that you put in social media, and they pull up that conversation. So on the screen, you can see one we did around gender-based violence. So you can see we use both academic terms and then colloquial language, like trad wife has been something that's been coming up a lot about promoting like that women should just be at home and not working and taking care of the children. And then you can also see that we use all different languages. That's obviously just a sample. We will have hundreds of keywords. And then we build on the tool something that's called a query. This is an example of one that we built around online violence against children. From this, it pulls up all the data. Again, it's from public social media, and we can start doing a thematic analysis on it. So the area we're focusing on, so this would be peace building in Somalia, we can look at all the issues that Mohammed and Hassan have raised about people's identities, about youth, about the different conflicts, also around polarization that's happening around hate speech and mis and disinformation. And we can start doing a thematic analysis on it and getting a really deep understanding of the different narratives that are arising. As I mentioned earlier, this gives us a really nuanced perspective into how people are understanding these different issues, the different perspectives, and how they're grappling with it. This is a really amazing for dialogue facilitation because we can then enter the conversation, meeting people where they're at, using the language they're using. It's great for both online and offline dialogue facilitation. It's also great for developing social media content and campaigns. Another thing we can do is see how the narrative changes over time and see what causes spikes in the conversation. So there's often high-profile events that gets everyone talking about these issues, and that's really great for a number of reasons, because we know when people are talking about things a lot, it's a really good opportunity to use that momentum and be hosting dialogues about it both online and offline. We also use this as part of our monitoring and evaluation. So we have very comprehensive monitoring and evaluation. And this helps us do a baseline study of how is the narrative now and how has it shifted over time. Other information we get from this is we get a breakdown of geographical areas, so we can see hotspots of mis and disinformation or areas where polarization is happening. Even are we building early warning systems to see where we can use the social media data and see areas where there are warning signs of violence for example, in South Africa, we have the public transport taxis, and online when parents start saying their children aren't going to school, we can start realizing that there's something happening, that the taxis aren't running, and that there may be taxi violence that's going to happen. So we can get all these sense checks for different geographical hotspots and preempt when we know there's going to be violence. So we can do both online and send peace builders online to calm the online environment and offline into those areas. Then you also get a breakdown of different metrics, like the languages people are using, age breakdown, and a range of different metrics. So just to go back to that, what do we then do with this? We use it for our own interventions and our own engagements, but our whole point is to support the work that people are doing on the ground. So the grassroots organizations and the communities and the in-person work, that can never be replaced. This is just a supportive mechanism that's supporting that. So right from the beginning, we work with communities and local organizations to shape the research. They know best. So they work together with us through this whole process to make sure that the research is useful for local nonprofits, local communities. And then we disseminate the research as widely as possible in a report, through social media content, through little videos, so that it can be useful to as many people as possible. And because people have been involved with it right from the start, we hope to support the on-ground work that is being done. And then the engagements that we do is, so the other directors of Tales of Turning are two very experienced conflict mediators. They were part of the anti-apartheid movement in South Africa's terrible history and helped with South Africa's transition to democracy with the Peace Accord. So they bring this incredible knowledge of preventing violence, and on such a terrible history and time, helping this transition to democracy. And then my background is in psychology and narrative therapy. So we've combined that knowledge and developed a digital dialogue facilitation methodology. So we know how the online environment is influencing our world today, and it's a global problem where it's causing polarization, where people just can't talk to each other anymore, where it's shaping people's beliefs and attitudes. They're spending so much time online that it's shaping how they think and how they feel, which is affecting offline behavior and really shaping their behavior offline. So it really has such an influence on our everyday lives. There are also many, many examples across the world where social media has been used to ignite offline violence, so to mobilize offline violence. So we really need people with the skills online to calm the conversation, to know how to engage online in a constructive way. And so the methodology we've developed is around asking curious questions, drawing people out, getting them to express their perspective, making them feel seen and heard first, even if they're expressing something you really don't agree with. And after that, asking them questions to get them to reflect on the harmful beliefs. And it's a really, really effective as it is offline in dialogues, it's really, really effective online. So we've trained peer educators, community-based organizations, university students, nonprofit organizations in this methodology. And the goal is to put it in the hands of as many people as possible. So we've all been part of terrible WhatsApp groups when people are saying terrible things. Lots of people want to know, how can I engage in these conversations? Also online, on Twitter, X, on Facebook, on TikTok, how can we engage in these really negative spaces? And this methodology really works. Another aspect of the methodology that we developed is truth queries. So this is questioning the truth of mis and disinformation, saying things like, is that true? Where did you get this information from? Are you for real? During the last South African elections, which were really, really difficult elections with high risk of violence. We applied this methodology and did research on it with the University of Washington, with really, really fascinating results. So you can see on the screen, the gray is the control group where the truth queries weren't applied. And the blue is where the truth queries were applied. And you can see how it just calms the conversation. It prevents people from resharing it, from believing in the accuracy of the information, and from trusting it. So really what it does is getting people, I'm sorry about my voice. I'm really ill and I'm losing my voice. But it really gets people to think critically and engage critically online. And it can't be used to manipulate narratives or push an agenda, because it's getting people, what we want to do is get people to think for themselves and just think twice before. We know mis and disinformation makes people angry, which shuts down the critical thinking part of their brain and makes them impulsive. We just want to have that just one moment of just think twice and check in. Do you think this is really true? The other amazing thing is that it's done on public social media. So we've also found it breaks the bystander effect. So other people witness how you can really do more constructive ways of engaging online, and they join in the conversation. And it also gives them the courage to join in the conversation in constructive ways. So it really has all these ripple effects. And we've done 2 studies with the University of Washington now, one in a more controlled lab environment, and then one, as I say, during the elections, really in the field, with really exciting results, which has turned it into evidence-based methodology. The other thing that I really, really love that we do is that, as I mentioned, and we view communities as the experts and people as the experts. So when we hold workshops, we're not trainers there being the experts. We really take people through a process. So you can imagine the peer educators we're working with, the communities we're working with, they are on the forefront of conflict in their community, of gender-based violence. They are there, they are living it. You can imagine the rich knowledge in the room. So the idea is to draw that knowledge out so people can learn from each other. Then we weave on top of that our techniques and our methodology, and then teach the cohort that we're working with to use social media to amplify their knowledge and increase their impact in their communities and across different communities. So you can imagine it promotes this learning between communities and then sharing this knowledge within the community and outward, and it becomes something very, very exciting. So here on the screen is an example of the content we can make, and you can see it's quite different from regular social media campaigns. The first thing you'll notice is that we always use questions. No one likes being told what to do, and often language that we use when it's academic or language that's been used in the sector, people don't feel like it's relatable. So we really come up with curious questions, and this one is really, when we did the social media listening research, we really saw that a lot of fathers are actually really concerned about what they're passing on to their children. And this is a design around that intergenerational trauma. And it says, what behaviors are you afraid of passing on to your child? This really gets fathers thinking and reflecting. Another thing that you'll see is it's unbranded. So we find that unbranded content really gets more engagement. We want to get people engaging and talking. And then you'll see that we've used a positive image. So this is based on hope-based, the hope-based narrative theory. There's a lot of neuroscience and psychology around this, which I won't go into now, but it's really, really fascinating. The simple version is that it's using what you want to see. So instead of showing a father hitting his child, we're showing this positive interaction. So we want to build these new neural pathways in people's brains, these new stories and these new ways of being in the world that are more positive. And then just on that slide also, so in our workshops, We will design this content together and support the cohort in designing this content, and then we'll all help share it and amplify it. So it's a great way of amplifying the impact of initiatives. Another thing I really love is the Digital Changemakers group. So we have everyone that goes to our training. Also, Siabata will put the link in the chat now, where you can join. We have peace builders from across the globe that are part of this network, where we can all learn from each other, share resources. We share our social media listening research there. We share content there. We have regular dialogues every Monday so that we are all learning from each other and supporting each other. We know the state that the world is in the moment. It's going to take all of us peace builders standing together, inspiring each other, learning from each other, learning from local communities to make a difference. So this is something that I'm very, very passionate about. So thank you so much for listening. At the moment, we are busy myself and Mohammed are busy sourcing funding to make this happen. We will share the proposal and a recording with everyone that's registered. And we're really, really excited to work together to pool our knowledge and to make this initiative happen. As I mentioned, this is just the beginning. We want to show how this can work in Somalia and then apply it in different countries. So by joining us, it's not only about funding. If there's another way that you would like to get involved, we are all about collaboration. Please reach out. It's going to take all of us to make this work and then to implement it in other regions. Thank you so much for your time. I think we've got like 5 minutes for questions if anyone has a burning question. Otherwise, you're welcome to email us afterwards and we can respond to any of your questions. Okay, I think that's it. Please reach out to us over email if you need any more answers, and thanks so much for taking the time out of your day. Siabata, you can go ahead and end the webinar. Thank you.